Ever notice that the weight in your life isn't your debt or your job? It's the weight of your own inaction. In this video, I'm going to share with you 3 power moves that you and I can begin to take and make so that inertia can work for us and not against us. Because in the last video, I touched on Newton's 3 laws and how they can impact our lives. But today, in this video, I'm going to focus on the first law, the law of inertia. But this time, I want to highlight how we can make some moves to truly empower us so we can take advantage of that law. Hang tight. We'll be right back. Welcome back. See, 15 years ago, I drafted business plan number 5 or even maybe 8. Still no lunch. I wasn't lazy. I was simply inert. I'm sure if Newton was here, he would have winked at me, just saying, a body at rest will stay at rest unless acted upon by an external force. The same physics that glues the boulder to the ground is the same physics that affects a brilliant idea to get stuck in the journal. Here's the truth. Ignoring inertia is actually choosing it. Let that sink in. So let me help you show you some real life examples of how inertia is at work in our lives on a daily basis. Let's start with the first part, when the body is at rest. Here's an example that you and I will often do. I'll start saving or I'll start investing next month or sometime in the future. That's an example. You're at rest, no movement. But what you could put into place to help you as an external force to push you to start doing something could be just a 5-minute setting up of some account, maybe a high yield savings account or a brokerage account, where you can start to automate the process of that investing or that savings. And then let's look at the second part. A body in motion will stay in motion except acted upon by an external force. Here's a simple example. You're now making minimum payments on your credit card debt. You're just making the minimum payment. So you're just coasting. You're just coasting. It's going to take you a long time, but you don't care. You're just coasting. But something you could do to help you change that is maybe you actually apply the snowball tactics. If you know what the snowball tactic is, what's his name? He talks about it really well. But this, I can do that in another video. And maybe add a side gig to it to help boost how you're actually repaying that debt or that credit card debt. Those are 2 simple examples that you can use, but also to show you how that law affects us on a daily basis, or how we even allow it to affect us. Maybe because we are ignorant of it, we don't know any better, but just know that it does on a daily basis. And then yes, something about a law which I shared last time is that every law is a macrocosm of every other law. So if inertia rules motion, inertia also rules money. Take a cue from Proverbs chapter 6 from verse 6 to 11. In that passage of scripture, God says this, "You lazy man, go watch and study the ant. Observe the ways of the ant." And he explains the things that the ant does. One of them says the ant doesn't have any king, no ruler, but yet it does all these things. The summary and the message that at least I got from that passage is this, is that God is saying to us that motion beats perfection every time. Motion beats perfection. Let that sink in. So what are the 3 power moves that you and I can engage in to take advantage of this powerful law of inertia as we know it now? Move number 1, micro momentum. Start tiny, small. Start small, but move daily. Why does this work so well? Because small, consistent actions will always trump large heroic pushes. Small daily consistent action will always beat large heroic pushes. That's why 10 minutes a day, for example, equals to 60 hours a year. That is an entire work week you never had the time for. So here's the truth. And here's a playbook that you can employ when you think about your money activities and what you're trying to do to achieve some results. Let's say Monday, you start by just simply downloading your last month's bank statement. Tuesday, review it and cancel any unused subscription that you see. Wednesday, read one page from a financial book. It could be, I'll give you an example, maybe The Psychology of Money. That's a great book. Or The Richest Man in Babylon. Just read one page a day. Those small activities that you do daily will compound significantly. Here's the question. When you imagine completing any of these small, tiny activities, what future relief do you feel in your body right now? Just think about it. Or if you hadn't done them, what would that missed opportunity look like 5 years from now, knowing that these little activities really compound over time? What would that look like looking back 5 years from now? That is the reason why you want to start small, but stay consistent by doing it on a daily basis. Because here's what I want to do. If you can just close your eyes for a minute now and just picture that next holiday or that next vacation, knowing that your finances now is moving in a direction that is more positive. Do you feel any lightness? If you do, that is inertia now working for you. Our move number 2, public commitment. Speak your goal out loud. Here's why it works. Social proof flips inertia on its head. Your friends become your external force. You see, the brain's wiring for consistency makes quitting psychologically expensive. So your brain is already wired to help you succeed, especially when it comes to being consistent. Because again, think about it. If you had to wake up every morning and relearn how to brush your teeth, you know how difficult and how tasking that will be on your brain and on your entire body. So your brain is wired to learn, and it likes to do things consistently. It likes to do things on reflex because now what? It minimizes the amount of energy it requires to do that task. So by you just becoming consistent, you are retraining, you're doing something that psychologically your brain loves it that way. So just do it and you'll see. In fact, you can start with a simple playbook like crafting a 20-second money manifesto. What do I mean? A statement that you can share with maybe 3 trusted friends. For example, you can say, hey, I'm going to start saving every paycheck $50 from every paycheck. I'm going to start saving that. And you say, hold me to it. And share it with 3 friends. The question now is this. How would you feel when your friends start to cheer you because you've achieved that milestone? Or they start to look at you and wonder when you're going to start? How that make you feel? I'm sure you prefer the one when they cheer you. So it's going to motivate you to do it, right? And here's an anchor scripture I can give you to that. It's Ecclesiastes chapter 4, verse 9 and 10. It says something profound. It says, 2 are better than 1. If one falls, the other one can help him stand up. So here's the thing. God is even telling us that accountability is as spiritual as it is strategic. It's not just something that we do strategically. It's also a spiritual principle. So hold yourself accountable by exposing something you say you want to do, but make sure you do it with people you can trust so they can truly help you to make that move, to achieve that milestone. That is number 2. Or move number 3, automate the first dollar. Let your bank app do the heavy lifting for you. You see, automation is inertia's kryptonite. No willpower involved. The external force is working for you every payday. Come rain, come sun, it works. And so that will help you. Here's a playbook. You can start by saying, hey, every paycheck you're gonna put aside 5% of your income in some high yield savings account or whatnot. And maybe every quarter you increase it by 1%. But here's the question. If your savings happened before you saw the money, what kind of peace would that now create for you and your family? Imagine checking your balance a year from now. How surprised would you be by what your consistent action have done for you? You see, I want to reframe something because for some people, you feel like you're losing money, but you're not losing, you're spending money. You're actually sending your money to work for you. You know, in the good book, The Richest Man in Babylon, the author said something so profound that money makes a poor boss, or money is a terrible boss, but a great employee. By you doing something like this, you are now employing your money to work for you. Do it. Try it and see what happens. Because at the end of the day, I want you to think about this. You see, where has inertia been silently billing you interest in your life? Where has that been happening for you? Because like I said again, if an external force doesn't help you, you're going to stay where you are. Think about how much inertia has impacted your life. But now you have 3 powerful moves that you can start today and change your trajectory for the rest of your life. Remember this though, because at the end of the day, you are the architect of your life. In another video, I said this, and I'm going to say it again. You are the screenwriter, the script writer, the actor, the villain, the producer of your movie called your life. And if you don't like any of those parts, if you don't like how the script was acted, you don't like a certain action or a certain part, you can rewrite the script. If you don't like the part of the actor, you can change the act. You hold the key to the outcomes of your life. And that law, called the law of inertia, can work for you or against you. The choice is yours. Now you have been empowered to take advantage of the law because you're now more aware and more knowledgeable about how this law works. So you can use it now to your advantage because all laws exist. Whether we know it or we don't, we would either face the consequences of not knowing it or we face the consequences of knowing it, which could be good or bad, regardless. So remember this as I close, that with all of your getting, get understanding. Have a great day.